You talk a lot about detoxification. Why is that one of the primary things that you would suggest that we need to do when we are getting into some sort of situation where our lives will change and we'll be healthier?
I think detoxification is important because of the world and environment that we live in today. We have so many chronic illnesses that are a result of our toxic food supply that we have, our toxic air quality, our poisoned water system. I live in Wisconsin, where our water treatment plant literally runs into the Lake Michigan, and then we refilter that water and we think it's healthy, we think it's safe. It's far from that. The Fox Valley water system where I live has been so contaminated over the years that they actually threw green dye into the water source because they didn't want it to look brown, because they wanted it to look pretty. And they kept dumping all these chemicals in there to try to clear the toxins that were being stripped into the water from the paper mills and some of the other companies that were around there. And we just continue to drink those water despite the fact that they're toxic, and we think it's okay. I think that the toxicity levels that we're being exposed to every day have contributed to a lot of our chronic illnesses. And because our bodies aren't able to release the thousands and thousands of chemicals that we're exposed to on a daily basis, right down to the things we sprinkle on the carpet and the plug-ins that we put into the outlets to make our houses smell good, we're constantly being contaminated with chemicals that our bodies just cannot get rid of on a regular basis. So it's really important to start by cleaning the body and creating a foundation where we can start to rebuild from then.
It seems with you, what you just told us, it could be virtually anything. It could be the thing you plug into your socket so that your house will smell better, and in fact what that's doing is debilitating your health.
It is. It's debilitating our health, and there's a lot of research that has gone into showing that these chemicals are affecting our young children as well, and all of the behavioral disorders we have, the attention deficit, even right down to autism, is all being linked back to these toxic chemicals that we're using on a regular basis that we think are safe, because if they weren't safe, the world governing bodies like the FDA and some of the other CDC people would never allow them to be exposed to us. But that's not actually the case. A lot of these chemicals are known toxic chemicals, but yet we're still exposed to them on a regular basis.
Yeah. You know, it's great that you can do this. Is detoxification fairly safe? Is it healthy? Does it make people kind of, out of the picture for a while, or is it a long term? And how do you keep them in that situation once you've gone through it?
Those are really great questions. There's a lot of different methods to detoxification, and not every detoxification program fits every person, because we have to look at each person as an individual. We need to understand how their liver functions, how their kidney processes things, so that we can pick the right detoxification program for them. Some people choose to do a fast for 5 days or 3 days, and they'll use herbs and they'll use some other nutraceutical products to help them cleanse. Some people just choose to use one simple herb like milk thistle, and they'll use that a couple of times a year to just cleanse their liver. The problem with that is if we don't look at the body as a whole and we don't cleanse the entire body, and we're just pulling toxins from the liver, we're dumping them into the colon, and unless the colon's moving properly, we're reabsorbing all those toxins we've just moved. So it's really important to do a full purification program. I tend to use one that I absolutely love. It's made of whole food, organic foods, herbs. It takes 21 days, so it's a nice slower process, so people don't feel terribly bad. Most people think of a detox as that they're going to have issues with their colon. They're going to be in the bathroom all the time. It doesn't have to be that way. But I will tell you, the more toxic you are, the more unlikely you are to be able to function on a regular basis, at least for the first couple of days. Because not only are we moving those toxins, and you don't necessarily feel good when we do that, we're also limiting you what you can have on a daily basis. So we might restrict coffee, or we might restrict cola and caffeine and sugar. Well, now you're going to go through some withdrawals, and that's going to make you not feel so well too.
Let me talk to you or ask you about the person that doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with them, but they live in that same environment, and they're being affected, whether it's their mattress, they're being affected by all of these. Do you recommend cleansing at certain times of the year, or other protocols to go through with what they eat? and drink so that they're able to hopefully ward off some of these things at a regular basis?
Yeah, I do. Even if people are really well and they don't have chronic symptoms, I still recommend that they go through a cleanse at least twice a year. Spring and fall is a great time. We clean our house that way. We should clean our bodies that way too. So I recommend that they go through a 21-day purification program twice a year, whether they need it or not. If they're ill, they may need to go through that process a little more frequently. Maybe they need to do it every time the season changes, spring, fall, summer, winter, and that makes them feel a lot better when they do that.